When I was a kid, drawing was a passion. I started sketching things from comic books, superheroes, and crime fighters. With time, I started drawing portraits, always of pictures, never of people I knew. That is, until April of 2007, a turning point in my life where my sketches took on a new meaning. I was no longer drawing fictional heroes, but a brave and strong little girl, given only a 1% chance of survival, weighing less than 2 pounds, and born 3 months too soon. My daughter, Molly.
I was young and I was alone, but I was excited to have her in my life. There was no doctor in the room. I had her so fast, and I just was determined that once we were in labor, it was going to happen. And she came out perfectly healthy. I couldn't imagine my life without her, ever.
I met Jamie and her 3-year-old daughter Harley back in 2004. Jamie and I hit it off, and eventually we became a couple. After a few breakups and brush-offs, we tried again, and then that's when I got the best news of my life.
I was excited. I was very happy. I knew that that's what I wanted.
And we all wanted the same thing, that the baby would be healthy and
that we would be happy and everything, that she would be okay, because from the very beginning I was sick, and it was completely different, and it was just that gut instinct that this time, you're not worried about whether it's going to have your eyes or your hair color. You're actually worried about if it's going to have 10 toes and going to be healthy. I began bleeding, and it was first, the doctor said, oh, it's normal, it's just spotting, that happens. And then it became very significant. And I was hospitalized a couple times for a couple days at a time. I was always in and out of the doctor's office, and they put me on bed rest.
It's frightening. First it's my kid. Secondly, there's another little being involved in this.
They sent me to a specialist in Grand Rapids who, a week before Molly ended up being born, said that the blood that was surrounding the placenta, and that was what was coming out, and that was going to cause my water to break early, and I needed to pay attention. I don't think I really found out I was going to have a premature baby, and I don't think that there's any preparation for it ever. I think they alluded to it, saying, you want this baby to make it to 28 weeks. Anything before 28 weeks, it's not really going to live. It's not going to have any normal life. It'll have all these problems. You just don't want to do that.
But making it that long was only a hope. Soon our worst-case scenario became real.
My water broke, and I knew my water broke. I went into the hospital and had an ultrasound, and the tech, instantly, the look on her face, you knew something was wrong. My water had broken, and that the baby was okay. There was solid heartbeat.
The doctor told us they had to send Jamie to Spectrum Health in Grand Rapids, but they also gave us a startling and grim outlook on our child's chances of survival.
The doctor came in and said, well, we talked about this before. If the baby were to be born too early, you could just go home and let her pass.
So we had a really uneducated, very difficult decision to make.
The doctors used the word pass, but to us that meant going home and waiting for our baby to die. It was an unthinkable decision to make.
And all of us felt that it was no way we could just do nothing.
Even with the bleak picture painted for us, there was no chance we were going to give up on our child. The doctors gave Jamie a shot of steroids for the baby.
They loaded me in the ambulance, and down to the hospital we went.
So I ended up riding down in the ambulance with her, and she was scared all the way down.
And I followed behind, the whole time wondering what would happen. Once I got there, it seemed like hours till I found out more, but eventually the doctors told us Jamie would have to stay there indefinitely. But they hoped they could hold off delivering the baby for a few hours, maybe even weeks.
So Jamie's tucked into her bed and everything's going well, and she said, well, can I go to the bathroom? And they said, yeah, go to the bathroom.
And when I was there, the umbilical cord fell out.
And I heard Jamie say, this isn't right, something's out here.
And she leaned her head out the door and called cord.
Boom, all of a sudden there was 8 nurses or bodies all boom, 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 working all over.
He threw me on a gurney. It was overwhelming. I was being rushed into surgery, and I knew it was bad.